Welcome to the model speeches for Icho Cup 2017 round 1. And the motion before this house is this house of ban child beauty contest. Without any further ado, I'd like to call on the Honorable Prime Minister Ryota Yoshii to make his speech within 7 minutes here.
Ladies and gentlemen, children are not the marionette or puppet or the property of their parents. All children should be free from any kinds of abusive control by parents. Child beauty contest, Mr. Speaker, rather create excessive control by parents, and children are imprisoned the framework of parental welfare and shackled by abusive food restriction and physical training. We say fuck this oppressive relationship and unfair relationship. That's why to end that kind of the unfair relationship, we will incline the pendulum of justice to the children to emancipate them. That's why we are happy to propose this motion. So as Prime Minister, I'm going to examine two things in my speech. Firstly, briefly set up today's motion. Second is about principal legitimacy, to what extent government draw a line to ban the choice of the children. So firstly, the model itself. 3-part model is very simple. So firstly, we are happy to ban all forms of child beauty contest, which purely makes a ranking based upon the evaluation about physical appearance, attractiveness, or the proportion of the physical body itself. Secondly, but the definition about the children is up to the context of the country, because this debate is not about what is the distinctive age line of the children. For example, 80 years, or 20 years, or 50 years. That is up to the context we do not talk about. Lastly, we don't mind other children's choices at all, but if they are the principally repugnant, we are happy to ban it as same, i.e. child actor, child athlete, child IQ contest, or whatever. We don't take any risks for children. So first argument is about principle. So we believe that as side advantage, when children cannot make a proper judgment about the harm and benefit of continuous participation to the beauty contest, and that consequences are excessively damaging for the physical development of the children, we can ban it. Because under those circumstances, children cannot opt out of heinous environment, and government is the only actor who externally evacuate and enlighten the children as independent third party. Best analogy here is about child abuse, because under that abusive occasion, parents blindly believe for the sake of discipline, strict treatment is necessary for the children. That's why the parents kick or punch to make the children to follow the order of the parents itself. Under that family environment, there are no evacuation from the parental violence, and children are the most vulnerable actor who are unable to opt out of that circumstances. That's why, even if that discipline is beneficial for the future growth, state can intervene to reset that perpetuated relationship between parents and children. That is a principal prioritization of the short-term emancipation rather than long-term happiness of the children. Why this case is applied to the motion itself? Because the vast majority of cases, children must obey the order and follow the order of their parents, because their children does not have enough knowledge of the contest and also does not have any consideration about, for example, what effort they should do in every day for the contest, or how they have to prepare for 1 year after contest at all. That's why in terms of the maturity and accessibility to the information, children must follow the order of the parents. Why it is so problematic is about 2 levels of characterization of contest and parents before that Takayuki.
So, do you think it is negative to let parents make children study hard for academic examination, for example, entrance exam for junior high school?
If that is so extremely regarded as a tiger parent, we are happy to ban it. That's all. So, levels of characterization of the contest. Contests include the nature of competition to the opponent participants. And also, to win the contest, participants must do hard effort to brush up their physical appearances. And 2, during the process of brushing up in and of itself, opponents' participants are invisible. There are no way to recognize who are the other participants as same as debating tournament. That's why only way to keep the motivation for the children or for the parents is to research the past information about the past contest or the past champion itself. That's why the effort in and of itself has a high propensity of escalation, because there are no way to how they should effort to win the contest to achieve the victory itself. So, and second analysis is about parents. Parents parents want the children to win the contest in the first place because the owner of the children is also the owner of the parents. That's why the parents who have the escalated incentive start the hard training and excessive food restriction for the children to make beautiful and attractive body. For example, only provide the vegetable or the fishes by cutting off any meat or the beef at all, or force the children to lose the weight by excessive sports activity at all. How this is problematic? Firstly, children have to sacrifice necessary nutrition for future growth on behalf of pursuing short-term honor. It rather hinders the physical development of children. Secondly, these circumstances make the children's health condition more worse, i.e. the anorexia or the excessive food restriction. The bone will be more weaker at all. How that structural problem children cannot opt out at? Simply, if the children want to resist that strict treatment by parents doesn't mind so carefully. Why is that? For the parents, they regard that resistance as a temporal irritability. Because the parents, in other words, adults, subjectively decide are well-educated or the well-experienced psychological or emotional tolerance by past experiences, i.e. hard training and hard study for university entrance exam at all. That's why they know that short-term sacrifice is essentially necessary for future success. That's why parents will highly likely and have high propensity to continue the hard restriction, and the children cannot opt out that kind of the structural problem at all. The conclusion of this argumentation is about nature of the beauty contest in and of itself is tantamount to the child abuse, and children cannot opt out. That's why as a government we are happy to enlighten the children. For all reasons this motion should take.
I thank Prime Minister for your excellent speech. Next, I'd like to call upon Leader of the Opposition, Takayuki Watanabe, to make your case within 7 minutes. Here.
The very moment when you attract audience's attention, listen to the great applause that you gain after your performance on the stage, is when you have self-esteem. You gain satisfaction, you gain confidence, and grow up your own identity in your childhood. We think this is rather important for children. Maybe it includes some sort of competition. We say that is beneficial. So what do we stand for inside opposition? We support any child beauty contest when it's conducted properly. What do I mean by this? Firstly, they should set regulation on the conduct of contests. For example, prohibit over-seductive conduct such as girls wearing too short skirts or bikinis in order not to expose children to their adult sexuality. Or require participants to hand out health certificates in order to prevent underweight or eating disorder or any other malnutritious negative impact resulting on their body. So we think these are going to prevent the potential harms which the proposition side was concerned about. But secondly, they should set a limitation on the cash prize in order to reduce the profitable interest of the parents. Instead, and what is usually done right now, participants will compete to win a variety of prizes such as toys, tiaras, trophies, or a ticket to Disneyland, as debaters do not compete for money but for satisfaction. Trophies, sometimes Kobe-gyu, go to Yosaka. We don't want beauty contests to be a labor, of course, but rather should be a place for pleasure and education, and we think it's functioning well in that way. So before constructing our case, one key rebuttal to their case. So was there any significant problem caused by the child beauty contest? We say that when they talked about the strict discipline by the monster parents, and which was the main case in their argument, that was not an argument to ban any competition surrounding, that was an argument to ban any competition to surrounding children, not specifically child beauty contests, as piano contests or ballet contests or even academic exams do. Maybe they're going to ban most of these contests as they're willing to do in their model, but we say that any sort of competition will anyway exist inside school when you compete with other children in their academic ability. Parents are anyway going to care about that and going to and discipline those children. And if they can magically restrict monster parents doing the very strict discipline as they as he responded in his POI, we think there is no problem in having these child beauty contests and having these beauty contests and also restricting these strict disciplines. So rest of the rebuttals will be integrated in my constructive speech. So moving on to our case, I have two arguments. Firstly, how child beauty contests bring self-esteem for children. And secondly, why it is a legitimate choice to which the blanket ban shouldn't be applied. So firstly, how child beauty contests are associated with bring self-esteem for children. And we think there is a lack of analysis on what child beauty contest looks like and lack of uniqueness in the argument. So firstly, what is the child beauty contest which differs from adult beauty contest? First and foremost, we think they evaluate participants' individuality, capability, poise, and confidence on stage. What do I mean by this? We're not talking about children's photo collection magazines in this debate. We're talking about beauty contests where children not only appear on stage, but give speech, do interviewing, show off their clothes choice, and show their special skills such as dancing and singing. The appearance is not the sole and primary issue in this place, and as you know, every child looks cute and people don't really apply the adult beauty standards to children. They rather focus on the children's behavior, their confidence, and the unique features in their performance. So in conclusion, we think that it is the overall assessment of your attractiveness, including but never limited to appearance on surface. If you make effort, you're much more likely to be rewarded in other unique feature that you have. So secondly, what is the unique benefit of children beauty contest? One, to a large extent, it shares a common benefit with other types of competition. That is to say, it gives children to continuously improve themselves and help develop their feature as an attractive person, as piano contests or even academic exams do. The particular type of features that can be developed through child beauty contests are confidence, attractiveness, and lots of sorts of your attractiveness as a person. Of course, any kind of competition involves setbacks or hard times, but it is that very setbacks that develops you to the next step, and we think competition is rather important in childhood. But two, what makes child beauty contests more important is that they give confidence in their core personality. Participants can grow up their confidence at the point they enter into the contest and stand up on the stage, even if they're not the very winner in that contest. Because the moment you walk up to the stage and audiences are smiling at you, everyone clapping hands after your performance, is when you feel satisfaction and self-esteem. I think that self-esteem is the very constitution of your confidence. Yes?
Through the process of beauty contest, the value about appearances and installing every kinds of mindset of the children and also the citizen. How do you treat rather than that self-esteem of children?
I told you that it is not only about the appearance. Every child looks very cute and beautiful, I think. They're rather assessed on other types of a feature. But even if the appearance or some sort of outlook is important, we think that children can learn themselves how to be attractive, how to look good, and that will be very beneficial in their future life. So why are these benefits so important? We think that childhood is when where you grow up your self-confidence and shape your own personality, which lasts for your long future. Your experience that you attracted audience eyes and gained applause live throughout your life and advantage it. For example, at the place like job interview, but more generally, you gain confidence to make good interpersonal interaction because you know much better how to attract people. On to my second argument. Why is it a legitimate choice to which the blanket ban shouldn't be applied? So the extent of benefits I've just laid out may vary from person to person as well as the potential harm may exist from person to person. Ultimately, it is a choice, and as long as we cannot identify a structural problem in that choice-making process, we cannot bring a blanket ban. So we think that, of course, children's will is reflected, but to a large extent, parental decision is involved in this choice. We say this is rather good because parents have the best incentive to give benefits to their children because they love their children. Two, they have the capacity because they know better than any other person about their children, but also they have no financial incentives driven, as I told you in my model. So that will be the best choice for their children, and we think the best education will be done for the children, and this is very beneficial for children. Thank you.